Last weekend, before heading out in the Land Rover, Shannon and I spent more time in Sedona and enjoyed this amazing hike around Bell Rock and Courthouse Butte.
The contrast of the spring green against the vibrant red rock is just stunning.
Be sure to look at that tree, that tree, and the spinies and the red rock. Oh, and especially the red rock.
It is gorgeous.
Where do you see you are here? Here, perhaps.
Well, I think we're right around here. We opted for a side trail that seemed to be lesser known, and we were treated to a lovely solo concert.
It's early April 2022 and adventure is afoot. I'm still in Red Rock country exploring a section of Prescott National Forest. I need a drink. I'm still in Red Rock country exploring a remote track in Prescott National Forest in central Arizona, not really all that close to Prescott. I was studying GAIA GPS, and there seemed to be this dense network of forest roads away from all the tourist areas in this vast expanse of backcountry. I already stumbled upon an historic old cabin. At least I think it's historic. There's not a sign or anything indicating its history. But I love finding derelict structures in the backcountry like this, and this one seems to be well preserved except for some insightful graffiti and lack of furniture. Old buildings like this are protected by the Forest Service, so I only look, I never touch, and I think this one escaped a burn. That hillside directly behind the truck is barren from a wildfire. The dirt road out here was a couple dozen miles from town, and then I turned onto a primitive track, and I'm already 9 miles in from the beginning of that. Now I'm going to continue wandering in the truck and keep an eye open for an interesting campsite for tonight. I'm having beef pasta marinara tonight. Another delicious backpacking meal. And I'm in no way sponsored, I'm just showing you what I'm eating for dinner. I have zero energy tonight, and that's my fault. I had 2 cups of coffee this morning, which is one more than usual, and then I just sort of went about my day, and I didn't eat anything along the way. So by the time I found this campsite, I just crashed. It's a good campsite. It could be a little bit dusty if the wind picks up, but it's beautiful here. There's red rock formations to the east, and privacy is excellent. I really doubt that I'm going to see anyone because this is a 14-mile primitive track, and it terminates at a hiking trailhead. Not bad. You don't need to watch me eat this voraciously. That was a wonderfully quiet tent night. Temperatures last night were around 50 degrees, and it looks to be a beautiful morning. I figured I'd explore these rocks a little bit before I head back out in the Defender, just expecting to climb around, enjoy the natural features and the colors. But unexpectedly, I found these amazing cliff dwellings. They weren't visible from down below by any means, and I'm amazed by the idea that people probably lived up here. I understand that these dwellings offer amazing shelter and protection. After all, they've probably been here for 1,000,000 years, and they're still largely intact. But they are not easy to access, so I can't imagine how difficult it must have been going down into the valley, getting water or hunting, and then climbing back up to their homes. I guess the protection offered by these cliffs made the trouble worth it. When you stumble upon sites of archaeological significance like that, it's okay to look, but never touch. Places like that are special because they've already survived for millennia, and we want to continue to respect them and leave them be so future generations can appreciate them and learn from them. Good campsite tonight on a canyon rim with an amazing view to the south. Like yesterday's campsite, this one is also at the end of an out and back forest road, 6 miles long, and the road was very rough. A lot of rocks, a little bit of mud, and by the time I found this campsite, I was pretty fatigued. And that's the trouble with out and backs. The road might not be any fun at all, but you have to do it twice. I think the payoff with this campsite overlooking the canyon makes it worth it. And also today I discovered I have a tail light out in the truck. I'll get that fixed ASAP. Good morning, Arizona. Views don't get too much better than this.
My tent is away, and I resumed the 6-mile return trip down this jagged, bumpy forest road. As a four-wheel drive enthusiast, I do enjoy roads like this, but there's a point after several miles where if the roughness goes on too long, it starts to get fatiguing. When I'm exploring the backcountry, no matter what vehicle I'm in, I'm almost always in low-range four-wheel drive, at least for the type of terrain that I like to explore. My personal preference is to go slow, take in the scenery, and low speeds are much more gentle on the terrain and much more gentle on your vehicle. One thing that I really like about this truck is how well it crawls in low range first gear. I haven't done the math, I don't know the numbers for the torque or the crawl ratio. All I know is that it idles along really nicely. A lot like a Wrangler Rubicon. When I encounter a field of rocks and I need to pick my line very carefully, I can put it in first gear, let my feet off the pedals completely, and focus on my steering. The truck will tiptoe across the rocks without stalling, and it gets it done very gracefully. It's a tractor. This feels a lot like a tractor.
You can't fit. Okay. This is what I love so much about Arizona. Drive an hour or two in any direction to find yourself in a completely different landscape. I ventured a little further off the beaten path in the truck this week than I usually do. I like to keep it on a short leash and explore relatively close to our base camp simply because the truck is old. Every morning when it starts up, I'm like, thank you. Especially when I'm 14 miles down a primitive track. Rest assured, I always either have cell service or my Garmin in reach, so I can always call for help if an emergency arises. Knock on wood, the truck has been reliable. So far, I had a loose serpentine belt, sway bar bolt came out, and I have a tail light out. Let's keep our fingers crossed that any future issues aren't more severe than that. I'm going to call that a wrap for the week. Just as a reminder, my GPS data is available to Patreon subscribers, and points of interest for all my new episodes are available on the THATCH travel app for iOS and Android. I'll put links to Patreon and THATCH in the description for this video. As usual, thanks for following along, and we'll see you again next week.
Hold that thought, Chris. I need to postpone next week's episode, V15E13, because a family matter came up, and I need to fly back to Pennsylvania to be there for a loved one. It might just be a 1-week delay, but I'm not 100% sure, so for now, I'm going to keep it kind of open-ended. But I'll keep you posted, and I promise the adventure will continue soon. Thanks, everyone.